Of the day is Newcrest Mining, the biggest gold producer in Australia. The chief executive, Sandeep Biswas, has announced his retirement. That's after 8 years in the top job, therefore triggering a leadership reshuffle. The current CFO, Sherry Du, has been appointed as interim chief executive, effective immediately, with Dan O'Connell, the current group treasurer, promoted to the interim CFO position. So it's taking a look at the share price there. In fact, just looking at what's going on today with gold stocks, they are all up significantly, except Newcrest. Well, goes to show. I mean, when you got that movement at the top, particularly given he has had such a firm hand on the tiller there.
Yeah.
So, Nathan, I mean, how significant is that move?
It's classic Newcrest, right? Yeah. When everything is working, everything in the sector is going up.
Yeah.
Newcrest will come up with something. It's always like
blow it up.
I've been telling myself every week. I'm going, they're going to do something. They're going to do something, and they've done something. I think he's had a pretty good run. He's held up pretty well. This used to be, once every 4 to 6 months a blow up coming. I think that's less of, while he's been in the last few years, that's been relatively better. Given that Osmin has disappeared, Newcrest comes up as a pretty big copper player. There isn't a lot of copper plays left. So, when people start getting excited about Sandfire, which used to be the hated copper stock, you kind of know that the thematic is positive. Funnily enough, gold is outperforming copper, so go figure. So I think Newcrest is in a pretty good spot. I don't think this is a huge risk, but the market will be a bit more circumspect given what's happening in the macro. I mean, this is no Elders change. I mean, the Elders got smacked 20% when the CEO announced that he'll leave in a year. So you can see the difference. But look, the market's worried about everything at the moment. So any kind of uncertainty, the market is trying to sell out. I think Newcrest is good. I think it's a recovery cycle on the commodity prices. The two main commodities are doing relatively well. I think the longer term thematic over the next year or so should be positive for them. So yeah, look, it's not one I want to be positive on, but the thematic works. So I think Newcrest does well. I think, yes, there is going to be uncertainty attached to this, but I think, last couple of years compared to what was before, where they used to have these blow-ups all the time, I think it's been better. I think, hopefully, we've seen the worst and things are going to improve. So I think Newcrest goes from here. It's a big play, so the index buyers will buy into it.
Yep.
So that's the other upside to Newcrest. So if you look at the stocks that have done well with the index play, Northern Star and Newcrest have been the best performers. So yeah, I think it does good, but short term, yeah, the market's going to worry.
So is that a hold or a buy?
For me, the sector is a buy. We're positive on most of this.
Yeah, that's the whole sector. So,
I think
but you're saying Newcrest is not your favoured pick.
It is not, but actually it comes up in our model. So because of the size, so you're going for the big guys, and Newcrest offers that copper play, and copper is seriously undervalued at the moment.
Yeah.
And there isn't a lot of options, so I think that puts it another tick. So I think Newcrest is a buy here.
So your top gold pick then?
That's a tricky one. So things have run. So we used to like Gold Road, but it's outperformed everything quite a bit. And then you like Northern Star, it's the biggest, but it's also had a pretty decent run. Probably the underperformers, the next level is probably Silver Lake and Regis, and I think the valuation probably supports them. So I think when the tide's going up, all ships go up. So I'm looking at the guys who are underperforming and to play catch up. So I'd probably look at Silver Lake and Regis.
Okay, all right. Gaurav, how much do you like gold at the moment? And to that point, where's Newcrest fit into that picture?
I don't really take thematic views the way Maith does. So, but I will say that gold appears to be very out of favour, and gold miners themselves are actually handling themselves reasonably well. They've got a tough inflation environment. I think I explained last time I was on that there's nowhere to hide from inflation with gold because you're moving so much dirt in comparison to valuable material. That small increases in costs reverberate across that production chain, and they have a really big impact on the bottom line. But most of the goldies are actually performing reasonably well with those inflation pressures in mind. They are run by CFOs now. They produce good free cash flows. Capital allocation is just night and day different to what it was 10 years ago. And these are mostly good businesses now. You can buy them as good cash flow machines, regardless of your view on gold. And that transformation has been led by Evolution and Northern Star. I think Evolution remains the pick for me, just because it has best-in-class management. Doesn't have the best assets in the industry, but I think the deal-making potential and also the free cash flow per ounce is really attractive out of there. Gold Road remains a favorite as well. Excellent free cash flow and probably the best-in-class exploration upside. The De Grey is the one that I've been thinking about a little bit. Gold Road owns a piece of De Grey. The deposit that they're forming up now is quite spectacular. You don't get 10 million ounce deposits very often, probably once a decade type discoveries, and they've got one, and it looks really good. I think there's going to be a battle over that. So if you're looking for a spec, go there. I would stay away from Newcrest. Newcrest is technically, analysts love Newcrest because it is a technically amazing miner. The technical ability of this company is phenomenal. They operate the most complex ore bodies in the world. Lihir is the most complex gold ore body I think I've ever seen. Refractory gold, which means it's chemically bonded to the rock inside, so you need multiple processes to release the gold inside an active volcano inside Papua New Guinea off the mainland. Like, come on, you can't get more challenging than that. And yet they do it. Telfer, in the middle of nowhere in WA, again, tough refractory ore, with no power anywhere. They built a gas pipeline, they get it done. Cadia, block caving. They came to Cadia knowing nothing about block caving. They mastered, maybe the best block cavers in the world now. Block caving is when you mine upside down. You go underground and you explode from the bottom of the ore and let it all fall down. It's technically quite demanding. So these guys, I love following them. I love reading them because they're so technically wonderful, but they just love complexity. I almost think it's a bunch of engineers and scientists running this show, and they think there's extra points for complexity, and they chase complex ore bodies. And guys, there's not extra points for complexity. If I was running Newcrest, I would split this company up. I would keep Cadia and maybe some of their PNG assets, and I would sell the complex ore bodies, including Lihir. Sell it, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Focus on your simple ore bodies, and then use the cash flow to buy simple ore bodies. I reckon they missed a trick by not buying Saracen. They would have had 50% of that, the super pit, and they missed a trick by maybe letting Tropicana go to someone else. There's options for them. If they're too easy, they don't like it.
Actually like Lihir?
No one wants them to own Lihir.
Exactly.
Lihir is the fourth biggest gold mine in the world. It makes their reserve profile look really good, and I suspect that's the reason they want it. But a troubled miner, I admire them a lot for their technical competence, but I would never buy them.
Okay, so
I'll throw one in for you.
Yeah.
Evolution. Supposedly, a very good gold analyst is about to move across
Yeah, Rocky's gone.
to Evolution. So that tells you something about
I think it does. But Jay Klein, the team at Evolution, I think is the best management team in the industry, and will be my pick.
all right,
for the Golders,
okay, so that's a no from you then.